Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tankers of all ages, Sir Harry here again with another episode of Fast Tracks, a series where I have a quick battle in a tank I really like, and I managed to get an okay result in spite of myself. And today we're in the Grille 15, the Tier 10 German turreted tank destroyer. Of course, the other German Tier 10 tank destroyer being the dreaded Jäger, the Jagdpanzer E100. And the Grille could not be more different from the Jagdpanzer E100. It is fast, 60 kilometers an hour, best top speed there. That's best in class amongst any Tier 10 tank destroyer. 22.67 horsepower per ton specific power, so you get up to speed very quickly and you can handle hills with ease. It's also got a very, very nice gun. Now, the rate of fire is almost the best, second best in the class at 3.79 rounds per minute without a gun rammer. That's about a 15.8 second reload, and it's got an aim time of 1.44 seconds. That's almost a second better than the second best amongst Tier 10 tank destroyers. So this thing's about gun, this thing is about mobility, and we'll see in this battle, I put both to use. I relocate several times. As the situation changes, you can do that in the Grille. You cannot do that, of course, in a lot of the other Tier 10 tank destroyers. We're in a Tier 10 battle on Prokhorovka, and the matchmaking looks pretty good here. There's only 4 Tier 10s on each team, so that's great in a Tier 10 tank destroyer. But before the battle, I checked it out, and XVM says that we're actually at a significant disadvantage here. Over half the enemy team are green players. That means they're pretty darn good players, and most of their Tier 9s, in fact, all but one of their Tier 9s are green. So we have a definite challenge in front of us here. There's a lot of enemy players that know what to do and how to play, and yeah, we're going to have to hang on here and see what we can do to help our team out. So as you usually see on this map, of course, light tanks start buzzing around the middle. In fact, the enemy Bulldog just came up there, and we weren't able to get a shot at him. Our WZ-131 goes to the E1 spotting bush. If you're north spawn on this map, of course, that is dynamite for a light tank. If you can get up there and you hold your fire and do not shoot, you can spot for your team, get all kinds of spotting damage. And you can see we've got a number of tanks back where I am. We've got the ISU-152, we've got the T28 Prototype, we've got the AMX-50B for some reason, and you know what, whatever, that's fine. He's got a pretty good gun once he's loaded. He's got a nice little autoloader there, so you know what, we'll take it. So the enemy's pushing the middle pretty darn hard. We don't have a lot up there. You can see we've got a couple of mediums, and our T44 pushes forward to help out. We have the M46 Patton there as well, but the enemy's pushing pretty hard. They've got the WZ-111 1-4, the Chinese Tier 9 heavy tank, plus the 120, the Chinese Tier 9 medium tank, pushing aggressively with an M103 coming up as well. And yeah, our unfortunately WZ-131 got killed. I don't know if he shot or the enemy 1357 spotted him. But he gets taken out. Our Bulldog YOLOs forward to try to get eyes forward. He gets taken out. We do spot the 1357, and we get our first kill on him. We take a blind shot at the SU-101, and we get lit. And I think the enemy Bulldog on the mid-ridge there was the one that spotted us. So we want to get out of there as soon as possible. This thing has absolutely no armor, only 20 millimeters on the front of the turret and 30 millimeters on the front of the hull. So everything on the enemy team can pretty much penetrate me with high explosive and really ramp up the amount of damage they're able to do to me. So if you do get spotted in this, you want to get undercover as soon as humanly possible. That Bulldog's still whipping back and forth there. He is making our lives difficult. He's getting spots in, and yeah, it's kind of hard for us. Now, he makes a mistake here. He stops, he changes direction, slowing down enough that I can lead him properly, and we talked about the shell velocity on this gun is being pretty good. So when a tank's moving that slowly in front of you, it's a lot easier to line up the shot. Things are not looking very good for the team right now. We're down 4-2. You can see we've abandoned the hill. Our 2 Tier 9 mediums there, the Skoda T50 and the Leopard Prototype A, have both now come across the Northern Railway crossing and are coming into the middle to reinforce our M46 Patton. And for some reason, our AMX-50B decided to push down the one line, knowing there were very dangerous tank destroyers down there. He gets killed. He does light up the Grille for me. I do get a nice beefy hit into him, doing 799 damage before our ISU-152 can finish off the Grille. But we've lost that 50B, very valuable tank for our team. You can see now 2 enemy heavies pushing down off the hill. Our poor T69 is sitting there just in the, yeah, no, he's not going to do too well there. And our E100 is now totally isolated on the east side of the tracks. He has no fire support. That IS-3 of ours up at the Northern Railway crossing has been camping out there all game. The IS-3 is a great tank. The gun is pretty good, but I definitely wouldn't categorize it as a sniper. And you know what, maybe his services could have been more useful somewhere else. That enemy WZ-120, the Chinese medium tank, has been harassing the middle all game, gets tracked right on the crest, and I'm just reloading, but the M46 takes him out first. And there's the WZ-111-14. I get a nice big juicy shot into him, over 800 damage, and I think I track him as well there. So hey, we're getting some tracking damage, some assistance damage. He's left on 1 hit point, backs out under cover, and I don't have a shot on him. So I turn my attention to the M103, waiting to reload. I've got the side of an M103, and I bounce. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, this thing doesn't have the best pen for a Tier 10 tank destroyer, but the side of an American heavy tank, those things have terrible side armor. I thought I might have been able to get them, but you know what? That's fine. And of course, our Batchat Arty, who's probably the best player on our team and has a very good game, finishes off that one hit point WZ. Things have gone from bad to worse. We're down 9-6 now. There's still a lot of really, really skilled players on the enemy team driving really dangerous tanks. Our E100, our, of course, monster top-tier German heavy tank, is completely cut off in the east. He's becoming surrounded by some top-tier enemy heavy tanks, an IS-7, and then a Tier 9 M103. And now the enemy Tier 8 T-54 lightweight, the great Russian scout tank, is YOLOing right down the middle. He's in one of those depressions. We don't have shots on him, and our position is now compromised. He's going to have our flank. That IS-5 in the middle is going to be able to get shots into us once the T-54 lightweight spots us. So it is time to put this baby into gear, use the maneuverability and speed of the Grille 15, and reposition. This is so important. When you see your position about to be compromised, you have to move in any tank in the game. But being in a tank destroyer where you can actually do that, the Grille 15 is just great, and it allows you so much more flexibility than you'd have in any other Tier 10 tank destroyer. Imagine trying to do that in a T110E4 or in a Jagdpanzer E100. You'd be stuck, you'd be flanked, you'd be spotted, Arty would be raining down on you, and your game would be over. So Grille is amazing for that. So with that E100, you know what? I figure we've got to try to do something to help him out. If we can keep his gun in the battle, that would just be great for our team. He can do a lot of damage. He can bounce a lot of shots, and we're going to try to save him. So we're going to head over there now. And we're too late. Okay, but there's 3 tanks over there. There's an FE 4202P. There's the IS-7 and the M103, and I look at how many hit points they have. I know I can one-shot that M103, and so I take my time, I aim, and yeah, I take 2 hits in return. I take almost 800 damage, but I get a very dangerous gun out of the game. If the M103 had that top gun, he's a force to be reckoned with. He could work that railway crossing. Just came back over with the gun depression he has and rain fire down on our northwestern position there with our TDs and our arty. So at least the M103's gone. I get out of there. You notice that I'm using my view range circles there to make sure that the IS-5 is outside of spotting range, so I'm outside of his spotting range as well then. He can't spot me and get shots on me once I drop spot. So now the enemy tank destroyers are pushing, and I'm going to focus on this Grille 15. I reload high explosive. I talked about over 900 damage with HE and this thing having no armor in the turret, and there you go. Over 1,000 damage with the fire. Take out that Tier 10 tank destroyer, and my allies take out the enemy ISU-152. Now, our Batchat Arty is reloading. He has a very, very long reload, so our T28 Prot and I have to keep him safe. And so we go back to some bush spotting here. We're going to see if we can get shots on that 4202P as he comes over the ramp here. And no, we lose spot on him. But you know what? Good job. Our T28 Prototype, that very slow but very powerful Tier 8 American tank destroyer, takes him out. And we work really well together, the 3 of us now. There are only 3 left. It's 3 on 3, though. We pulled it back, and it's time to take matters into our own hands. First and foremost, we are, of course, worried about that IS-5. A very good player. He's had a very good game, and he's racking the kills up. So we need to try to figure out how to take him out. And before I can get down there, I was thinking about going down the one line and trying to get his flank. You see our cap goes off there, and the enemy IS-7 just absolutely YOLOs across the A line there, going right towards the northwest corner where he knows our artillery and tank destroyers are likely to be. And so I keep going, and I go till I'm at the far end of spotting range there. There's a lot of bushes and cover between us, but just to minimize any chances that he's going to be able to spot me when I shoot, I fire, and yeah, I'm shooting heat. And I forget that Russian heavy tanks down the side of the hull have spaced armor, and heat does not do very well with spaced armor. So I'm unable to actually do any damage on the first shot, so I refocus on his side of his turret. We get the shot out, and we get the kill. So Tier 10 heavy tank gone. It's now 3 versus 2. But that IS-5, it's only a Tier 8 heavy tank, but he's a very good player again, and he could still represent a real threat to us. The T28 Prot is basically a one-shot. Our Batchat Arty, he might be able to take out with a high explosive round. I've got about 60% of my hit points left, so he can't kill me with one shot. But you know, again, if he loads high explosive with a big 122 mil gun, you know, he could take me out in maybe two. We'll see. So I stop here, I wait for my binos and camnet to activate. I want to find out where this guy is, and between me and the arty, maybe we can take him out. Oh, and he's pushing now too. I'm very surprised by this. I figure, you know what, he knows, I guess, the T28 Prot is a one-shot. He thinks he might be able to kill our arty with high explosive, and I guess he's not worried about me, but whatever. That's fine. So I head back now, and we've got him surrounded. We're shooting at him from 3 sides. And I'm just going to come up over the crest here, try to get the shot. No, he's down beyond the other ridge. Again, I've still got heat loaded. And you know what? I probably could have got away with AP here, but at this point in the game, you want to be sure. And so I'm lining up for a shot. I want to try to get actually his engine deck, and he just pulls forward. I actually wound up putting that into his wheel. I take a hit, and the enemy artillery, the Object 261, just misses me. That would have been game over for me. With no armor, a giant Tier 10 artillery shell like that would have absolutely obliterated me, and again, my game would be gone. So now it's time to hunt the arty. That Object 261's around somewhere. There's lots of places he could be. We haven't had eyes down the one line for a long time. We never really have had eyes down towards the enemy cap or on the back side of the hill. So he could be literally anywhere on this map. In fact, he could have even come up into the northeast corner after their IS-7 pushed across, and he could be up on that island in the northeast. So again, time to put the speed of the Grille 15 to work. And you can see our Batchat already heading down the one line there. That's actually a very, very fast artillery piece. He's able to move very quickly, and he can cover as much ground as I can, probably as quickly. So rather than push down the west side of the railway tracks there, where I'd be going through all kinds of bushes, you know what? To me, there's a chance I could stumble into that Object 261 if he's camouflaged with his net up and he's behind a couple of bushes. He could spot me before I spot him, and I'm absolutely a one-shot for him to shotgun. So I go down the east side of the tracks, thinking if he is on the west side, maybe I'll proximity spot him for my team. They can take him out. And if he's not there, you know what, we'll keep looking, I guess. But I'm going to pop up anyway, see if I can locate him, try to get a shot down on him. But no, it doesn't appear like he's there. And our Batchat arty has now completely cleared out the one line. So we know he's nowhere on the western half of the map. He's got to be somewhere on the east. And the T28 Prod is still up on the ridge line there, so I'm hoping if that 261 decided to push onto the west side of the tracks at that northern railway crossing, that our T28 Prod would spot him. So now we're going to go up on the hill. I'm taking a very calculated risk here because there's a chance he could be sitting up on the hill waiting for me to shotgun me in the face and again ruin my day, end my game, and then it's now 2 versus 1. With a very low health T28 and an artillery, which again the 261 could probably one-shot pretty easily if he spots him. So we go up very slowly. The Grille doesn't have bad gun depression actually over the front. You do have to expose, though, the top of that gun shield is such a tall tank that you do become very, very vulnerable as you're cresting ridges. The enemy doesn't need to see much of that gun shield to put a high explosive round into you, and again, absolutely do huge amounts of damage, damage modules, kill crew, and potentially end your game there. So no sign of him now. I'm going to head down towards the island in the chance that he's there. I'm thinking I'll swing out to the west there a little bit, kind of along the north bank of this little river, and then swing back up towards the island to see if he's there. I still have heat loaded. You know what? It'll pen no problem. It'll still do enough damage to kill him. There he is. And holy cow, he's on pretty low health. He's actually only on 196 health. He must have taken some damage before. We take a second to aim. The fast aim time on this absolutely helps us out, and we get the kill. Looking at the battle results, first class mastery badge, not an ace tanker, but you know what? I was pretty happy. Did okay in that battle. The ace would have been great, but I'll take the first class arsonist for that Grille 15 kill. That was great. High caliber and the top gun for 6 kills. And this happened to be my completion of TD-12, the campaign mission for the T55A, the 12th tank destroyer mission, big game hunting. So it's always nice to get one of those out of the way as well, because you get some nice rewards and you get to move that much closer to getting the T55A. Our ISU 152, wow, what a battle. He had over 4,000 damage and over 1,100 base experience as a tier 8 tank destroyer in a tier 10 game, doing 4,000 damage. Yeah, you're going to do really well and get a lot of experience and credits. I came second by experience with 995, but I did over 5,000 damage. Of course, as a top tier tank, though, I don't get as much XP for that. But look at that. There's actually 5 players on our team. I guess 6 if you count the E100. Okay, did all the kills, and all of us got more than 2,000 damage. And look at the rest of that team list. Wow. 7 players, including a Tier 9 medium tank, did zero damage. And a Tier 9 medium, the Skoda, only did 375. And a Tier 10 heavy tank with an autoloader, the AMX-50B, only did 400 damage. That is not how to help your team win battles, you guys. We talked about the Fire for Effect medal before. You need to stay alive, even if you're bottom tier, long enough to do enough damage as the hit points of your vehicle to help your team out. On to the detailed results. Fired 15 shots, hit 12, 9 of them penned. Again, over 5,000 damage, and almost 3,500 of that was from over 300 meters. This gun is super accurate, super quick aiming, and it has a decent reload. You can have a lot of fun in the Grille 15. Absolutely recommend it once you get up to your choices on German tank destroyers. This line is absolutely amazing, starting with the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger. And you can see there, with the premium account, we did lose about 1,600 credits, but you know what, well worth it for what was actually a really fun battle in a very, very strong tank destroyer. Is there a tank you'd like to see a Fast Tracks video of? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider clicking like, and if you liked what you saw, hey, click subscribe. This is Sir Harry. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.